I just got a really sweet comment from a woman named Terry. Thank you, Terry. She just encouraged me to keep sharing. So I turned the camera on. It's been really challenging for about the last month. Let's see, I've been on the spiritual awakening path for about 12 years, really intensely, when I found human design back then. And then I found Adyashanti and the pointings towards truth. And about the same time is when all my health crashed. My mental health crashed. My physical health crashed. And so I signed up for a really intense journey in this lifetime. And that's what keeps me, one of the things that keeps me going is remembering that I chose this, and that no matter how challenging it gets, that that there's, the bigger part of myself, that which is untouched by everything that I can feel now as I speak into the camera to you. That part is waiting for me, and it's calling me home. And that's why I'm being brought to my knees again and again and again by this health stuff, this health challenge. And a few videos ago, I saw even more clearly into the nature of reality. So there was a touching into the reality of everything that's phenomenal, including the body and mind, is just coming and going on its own. There's no chooser. And that I am the background of space and equanimity and peace. That's just flowing with it, or just even just still, and then all of this stuff is happening. It's all just an illusion. I can feel that now as I'm speaking it. And it really helps to turn the camera on and just to talk like this and point myself back to awareness. Because it's just been like, since I had this opening, oh my God, the mind, and this is like the transits with Pluto and Venus and Mars and Capricorn, like just stirring up all kinds of darkness, all kinds of negative thoughts, and even this really intense power struggle where the mind does not want to lose its control. It doesn't want to lose its power. And so I've been giving it power, because the body gets fatigued, the mind implodes on itself, and then I feel powerless against the intensity and the headache, and it's like this thing that just bears down on me, and all my attention goes into the condition of the state of the body and the mind. And it feels like torture sometimes, but so, like, I'll just tell you about a dream I had last week when it was really getting intense. It was so real. It's like I walked into this kitchen and it was kind of dark, and this force whipped me up and took me horizontal and was dragging me by my feet into the darkness. And from deep within me, there was just this no. And it was so, it came so, in your dream when you wake yourself up. And I woke up saying no to this power, this thing that was pulling me. And then another couple of days earlier, it was one of those early morning dreams, and I sat up. This was in the dream, but it felt so real. I'm staying in my bus at a campsite. I sat up in my bus bed, and I felt this energy, this force around me, this power. And then I was aware of it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to face this, whatever it is. I felt not as much fear as usual, but then this thing that slammed me to the roof of my bus, and I'm hovering on the top of the top of the roof. I'm looking down at everything, and it's just this power that's holding me there, and I'm just like, I was facing it, but I wasn't quite able to be like, no, you're not controlling me. So I think this is all symbolic of this battle between the ego mind and truth that's going on within me, that's stirring up all the gunk and it feels like one of the major things with my Pluto and all this energy in my third house has been this like really fierce mental disturbance, it feels sometimes like I'm going insane. And so I think that's just part of the karma and part of the thing that I'm working through is this. Well, first of all, I'm also incredibly psychic and sensitive, and when I had a reading with Kim Gold, she was talking about how I just, like, my being lives on the edge of creation. So I'm like taking in all this information that doesn't even really make sense logically. And so there's a real need to just protect myself and just be able to like retreat and be in my own space while these cycles of chaos work themselves through. And yeah, so that's what happens. It's like this complete meltdown and chaos and overwhelming body stuff. And I'll tell you, I've been working with parasites. The whole 12 years, it's been parasites. I traveled in the third world countries, not having any clue about parasite cleansing, and I was completely clueless about a lot of things, and I still am. But just a couple years ago, I started cleansing parasite stuff, and I realized I did some research and started working with microbe formulas and realized, the parasites are like what's causing all the havoc. But when I do the cleansing stuff from microbe formulas, it amplifies all the symptoms, so it makes it worse. Like, it's really not fun. Hi, kitty. I'm here cat sitting and house sitting, and this is like one of the beautiful blessings of my life. I just want to mention is that I have this bus that I get to go out in nature in and retreat, and so life has arranged itself for me to really like start to really fit my 6-2 manifestor being, and it feels so gracious. Like, I can feel everything's orchestrating to allow me to really deeply retreat inward, to continue this journey, to really like come into myself, come into my form, and work with the subtle energy body. So one of the things I'm discovering is the parasites are only symbolic. They're symbolic of the mental instability and disturbance that was taken on probably from the trauma in childhood. I have sexual, emotional trauma, plus other lifetimes. I mean, I've got Uranus at the base of my chart in Scorpio in gate 44, and then Venus in gate 47. So like my body, my vehicle is here working out so much karma for myself, for my family, for lifetimes. And so this mental instability, yeah. And that is very symbolic, like the parasites having power over me feels like thoughts having power over me, right? And so the more I'm facing this, then I'm getting more, it's a balance too between completely loving myself where I'm at and just trusting, continuing to have faith that I am getting better, that, well, continuing to have faith that everything is orchestrated for my homecoming. And um, and then also, that gentleness and that loving myself, that seeing myself and honoring myself. One of my deepest wounds is not being seen by my family or anybody, really. Like, there's such a complexity here. And of course, no one can understand what goes inside, what goes on in each of us. So nobody can really see us fully. We can only see ourselves. So I'm working on just honoring myself and not needing to be seen. And yet there's this pain from not being seen. But giving myself all the love and attention that I didn't get as a child. And then also kind of coming into this warrior, like, I've always had this inner warrior and this courage, like saying no to the thoughts, saying no to the beliefs, saying no to the all the negative thoughts coming up, which like right now it's like, you're a failure, you can't do anything. I'm doing like the tiniest steps forward right now. And this voice is so fierce. It's just, it's a programming that's, I think it comes from my mother and that lineage. The Virgo, Venus in Virgo is like nitpicky, critical. So like whatever I was doing, there was always something better I could have been doing, or I could have been doing it better, right? That's Virgo, like perfection, seeking perfection. So now, even if I'm just starting this course, this amazing woman, Ting Ting, is giving this course called Guanjing, and it's about, she has combined meditation practice, stillness, with chi energy and movement. So my body has been wanting to move naturally to express the intensity and the passion coming through, and the frustration and the anger and the all of it. Like, I'll put my headphones on and just be out in nature and just dance and just be in with the healing qualities of the trees and just express myself. So that's what's coming through, and that's part of the magic and the beauty and the redirection that of my life course. I'm in a Uranus opposition right now, and this whole time I'm thinking, I'm using the mind and thinking that my path is about like understanding and being an astrologer or a human design person, and it's all mental. Now it's like, by necessity, I cannot live up here anymore like the way that I have been. I'm being forced to come within and to come into the subtle energy bodies, to come in to my breath, to come into my heart. And that's the blessing of all of this. I have an open root center, open sacral, open head, open ajna, all this pressure. So like the pressure to keep up with society and go along with the rhythms of other people. That's been a huge conditioning, is to just go with the flow of other people. And Kim Gould was pointing me to that, like, no, no, no. You're here to go with your own flow and your own rhythm, and to really tap into this inner authority and follow that and not be influenced. But because I came to do the whole gamut, like from deeply conditioned to freedom, and I'm somewhere in the middle right now. So I had to experience the opposite, like completely being influenced and led by other people's ideas of how my life should look. And when I'm in the energy field of another, I tend to just go with the flow with them. So now I'm just spending all this time alone. I mean, that's not new, but even more now, there's just a pulling in of my energy. I mean, and like I said, it's by necessity, because I feel like shit a lot. I feel the energy is not there. But through this Guanjing, I'm learning to focus. I'm learning to focus on the light. She does these beautiful exercises of amplifying the radiance of the heart. So I'm really feeling my light body. And there's been these, even now, even when the body, the mind, there's a fogginess in the head and the body's fatigued. If I close my eyes and I just can focus, I can feel that light body and that part of myself that's just radiating despite the energy in the body being low. And just, wow, that's incredible, because that's been one of the teachings that I've listened to and had faith for myself, that there's that the true self, regardless of what's going on in the play, the true self is joyful, peaceful, alive, radiant. And so what better way to discover that than to discover it while there's this fatigue and stuff going on. So yeah, I'm having to take it really slow. Just, it's a very different way of being than I've been, that I was conditioned to be, with that sacral and that root of like doing a bunch of stuff in one day. Like now it's like, slow down, my love. Just feel into what's next. Feel into what is going to nourish you at this moment. And sometimes it's just laying down in bed and watching YouTubes, And so I'm loving this Guanjing. And I feel this is part of this Uranus opposition. It's bringing up all this trauma, but it's bringing in all this light and awakening to my true self. And redirecting my energy down and in even more than it's been, in a very profound way. Yeah. So this sensitivity, this empathy, this the gentleness that I'm here. My being is so gentle. I mean, every being, your being is gentle. We're all gentle beings underneath the conditioning. And that's, I just feel so like open and tender and vulnerable. But that's also, being like this is also opening me to this magic. This is Jupiter and Sun and Neptune and Pisces in my 8th house. Like, the mystical realm is opening to me slowly. I think that's what's, I've always longed to be in touch with my intuition. And so I'm through this incredible challenge of the health and the mind, through the willingness to meet all of this, surrender to it. I'm being gifted by being opened into the subtle dimensions, and connecting with trees in a more profound way than I ever have before, connecting with their being and feeling the profound wisdom in the silence of nature, and allowing myself to slow down as much as possible. And even that, there's so much more slowing down to do, but that's what's happening. So yeah, this house set is gorgeous because I was going through it out, and I was out in it's beautiful place in a BLM land, and all alone, like it was super quiet, and going through it. But my water pump broke, so I was having to do the dishes like in a tedious way. I don't know, just I was 2 weeks down there, and then this house sit came up. It's 2 weeks. It's in this gorgeous house. And it's made me realize, like, oh, this lifestyle of being in the bus and being able to go out and camp in nature and find the courage to do that, with all its challenges, and all the fears that come up, but also all the beautiful places that I'm led to. Then the combination of that and then house sitting is really nice. So I'm going to be looking for house sitting jobs, and cat and pet sitting jobs, and then combining that. So I'm nomadic. And even my reading, I keep referring to this reading because Kim Gould's reading was so profound. She charges a lot, but it's worth it. I did both her readings, and man, I've never felt more seen before in a reading. And I'm a really complex being. I think that's why people haven't really been able to read me. But incorporating the asteroids and her depth of knowledge is incredible. So she said this Uranus is in gate 24, which is about meandering. It's about flowing like water, as she said. So allow yourself to meander and wander. It's like, yeah, that feels right now. I'm being guided to just follow my heart, be in nature, learn this flow, this energy work, this guanjing, moving the light around while moving the body. So I really am very, very motivated by this woman to come into strength, to heal my body, and to come into my power and my strength and connection with myself. I'll post a link to her Instagram below. She's got these beautiful little videos of the way she moves, and my body already moves that way. So when I found her, I was like, yes. It was definitely a splenic hit of like, yes, I want to take this course. So, even though financially I don't have income, I went for it. It was one of those things like, just go for it and trust. And that's a huge part of this process right now. It's just trusting that, following my heart, being in my process, I am going to be supported. Learning about being the motivation of innocence has really helped me surrender into the truth that I am going to be supported, even if I'm not working per se. My work, and maybe this resonates for you, if you're really a deep shadow worker and you have a lot of stuff moving in the body, and going through a lot of cycles of purging, that's your work. That kind of work that we're doing, clearing the karma, is affecting the entire collective. And so it makes sense, it always has made sense to me, that the universe is going to support me in this work, even though it's not recognized by the outside as work in the world. It's very much probably the most profound work we can do. And so I have always been supported, and I will continue to be supported, and so will you. And yeah, so following my heart, being supported, and this is very much North Node in Taurus in the 10th house for me. North Node in Taurus for all of us is coming into this very simple, receptive, slowing down, coming into our bodies, coming into the connection with nature, coming into our own flow, finding what we really value in life, and keeping it simple. Getting rid of all the clutter, mental clutter included in that, and finding happiness in the simplicity. And then South Node in Scorpio in my 4th house is just clearing out all that family karma, of all that generational karma, powerlessness, I'm not good enough, failure, trauma. So it makes sense why it's all coming up. And then, astrology helps me. Astrology helps me surrender. Because so then that, and then on top of that, all this Pisces energy is in my 8th house, which is about ego death, deep transformation. It's karmic, it's surrender, it's powerlessness. Again, it's ruled by Scorpio, so there's that energy. So I'm being transformed on the deepest levels right now. And, part of the thing that came up was I felt like I was getting better. And then I just got fucking slammed again. And the frustration of that, and then all these thoughts of am I ever going to get better? I'm unfixable. I'm too broken, all that stuff. But this astrology helps because it's okay, I understand I'm going through really intense transformation. Neptune has been in my 8th house forever, just reaming me opposite my natal Venus in Virgo in the 2nd house, bringing up these deep, low self-worth issues that are here to be seen through, because I can find my true self-worth, which is inside. We all can find our value, our sense of value, just for being here. And I can feel there's still this conditioned driving force. I have to be more, I have to do more, I have to prove myself or achieve. And right now it's just about I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy. I want to be balanced. I want my brain to be healthy, finding the focus. That's one of the benefits I feel coming from this visualization and energy work I'm doing with Ting Ting. I was able to focus yesterday on filling out a profile, and it was wow, that was nice. Just being able to focus on the task at hand, whatever I'm doing, moving on to the next thing. Because when we have a lot of trauma in the physical body, in the nervous system, This can be a lot of agitation, and you're doing things, but you're thinking about what's next, thinking about what's in the future, in the past. So we're not able to be fully present, and it feels so amazing when that presence is just, when I'm in my true self, the vibration is so peaceful and so present. Time disappears. We can all live there, and that's the promise, and that's where we're all being guided through our challenges, is to this place of coming home into complete relaxation with everything that's going on, and feeling at home in ourself, feeling completely okay with ourselves, maybe more than okay, just in love with this character, whatever, in love with yourself, in love with all her quirks, all her complexity, all her, all of it. Because no one else is going to love me but myself. No one else is going to do it for me. And the true self is that love, is that unconditional love that that the character's looking for. So one more thing about the health is that, I was on my knees, like crying out for help out when I was camping, just like, please, just ancestors, angels, spirit guides, God, please help me get healthy. And a friend there's about 5 people in my community that have gotten help with this homeopathy. This man who's very good at what he does. He was a Western doctor first, and then he moved into homeopathy. And you do this interview with him, and you tell him all about your, not just physical symptoms, but he wants to know all about your life and the challenges you've gone through, and kind of he's trying to get to the bottom of the complex and the issues. And he slowly narrows it down from 700 remedies to one remedy. And that remedy is energetic. And I think this is what I've needed the whole time, is that the subtle energetic medicine. I've been going at it with the harsh, parasite killers. And it's helped. I have improved, but at this point when I take them, it aggravates everything. It's just so hard. He said he doesn't hear about people who have parasites that go through it as intensely as I do. So there's another level of it with the parasites, which is mental, which is psychological. There's like a brain injury in here. Something. A limbic system impairment, yeah, from the trauma. So on an energetic level, yeah. I mean, and I've always heard about homeopathy and I thought, it's not strong enough for me. I need something strong. I need the big guns. So I've done ayahuasca, iboga, and supplements and coffee enemas and lots of supplements. But now it's more the subtle medicine. So I'm on it for a week now, and it's supposed to. It takes its time. And you take it for 20 days, and then it keeps working over time. And I am feeling slightly better. It's still up and down. I have bad days and good days. But yeah, so I'm on a homeopath remedy, and then I'm doing this Guanjing movement energy, focusing my awareness, bringing myself into the breath. walking outside in nature barefoot when it's warm enough, dancing. So there you go. There's a bunch of stuff that's been going on for me. And, I guess I'm here to spread the message of faith, like for myself, keep going. Like, we can do this. We can get through whatever the beloved is throwing at us, whatever life is throwing at us, whether that's internal turmoil, like for me, or external turmoil. We can feel so fragile when we're working through this stuff and opening our hearts again. And that's the beauty, when we are willing to do our work and feel the pain of everything, it opens the heart, and there's this sense of like being back open. And I can't remember this, but when we were children, before 7 years old, we were so open and just like non-judgmental and just playful and curious and loving and kind, and we were like connected with our true self. That's what this process is doing, is like opening me back up to that level of openness. And yet there's still a lot of fragility and stuff. So, and then also, learning about my design and how I'm here to operate in the world helps me to accept myself. Accepting myself as a 6-2 manifestor has been really difficult because there's been such a putting on of the conditioning and taking it on, being influenced and feeling really guilty about, being such a loner and being so sensitive and not wanting to participate. It's taken a long time. I just crossed my 12-year anniversary of my human design experiment, and it's like just now feeling more aligned with my own frequency than I ever have, and it's just starting to come alive this way, like, it's very different than that sacral energy. It's my unique frequency. And so through all this challenges in the body, that's the gift. It's like bringing me into my own frequency and alignment with this really sensitive, gentle being that I am, here to move really slowly in the world and at my own pace and take my time. Not be influenced. All right, so that's a long update, but I just wanted to share. I hope that this helps somebody, and I bless you on your journey. I'm just going to pulse my heart energy out to you. That's one of the exercises we do, is just to feel the radiance of the heart and pulse it out to the world, out to the universe. I'm pulsing my heart energy out to you, sharing my light, sharing my optimism, sharing my faith in us as humanity to move through this challenging time and to come into our hearts, come back to the simplicity of being, and come back to our oneness, that we're not so different and we're not alone. Whatever beliefs we have doesn't actually matter when it comes down to it. It's just about understanding how we affect each other and honoring ourselves first, finding our authenticity, finding our connection with ourselves, and through that, We move in the world so much more fluidly and freely, and so if it affects somebody else, that's their work, and we can come to this understanding that's all about finding the strength and the authority inside. Yeah. So maybe that's what's happening for you too. I'm sure it is, because we are all one and we have collective themes we're all going through. All right, that was a long one. Thanks for watching. Thanks again, Terry, for encouraging me to share. Lots of love.